Welcome to the Palace of Megapixels. This is Super Mega Brothers Turbo.
Welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host, Stephen White, and with me today is Todd Stark.
Hello.
And we have a very special guest, straight from the UK, the one, the only, Mammoth. Mammoth, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
We're doing pretty good. If I may say so, in your own words, good to see you! But I don't do it as good as you. I don't do it as good as you.
Always good to see you both.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably one of my favorite streamers. Anybody that doesn't know, he's a streamer on Twitch. You can find him on twitch.com at MammothEU. Mammoth, if you would, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Well, firstly, that's really sweet of you to say that. I'm just a regular caster on Twitch, try to do a variety of different games. We try to do a little FPS on Fridays. And about myself, well, I'm generally quite a positive kind of guy. I think there's enough negativity on the internet. We try to bring a bit of positivity, a bit of good vibes and good times to everyone's days. And we still have to spread a bit of good vibes and positivity, really. That's I think that really sums me up, to be honest.
And that was actually probably one of my first questions I wanted to ask you about, because you kind of, on your stream say that you're a doctor of sorts, a doctor of good vibes and positivity.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to have your drugs, man. You got to have your 7-a-day good vibes.
That's right.
Yeah, that is right.
And that's something that I must do every day, is I want to come get my good vibes for the day, because the day is not complete without it.
He's needed them this week.
Well, if you don't mind me quickly interjecting there. Like, one of the most beautiful things that I freaking love about Twitch is how many people that you see come back on a daily basis. And we're saying, the amount of times I hear someone say, "Oh man, you want streaming X, Y, and Z day?" Like, I didn't get my good vibes. Like, it was, yeah. What happened?
Mm-hmm. Now, was that your goal in the beginning? Like, when you very first started streaming, was that the overall goal?
What, to spread positivity, or?
Yeah, the idea of essentially what you built now in your stream, the good vibes, the positivity, was that the goal, or did it just become that over time?
No, it kind of was that. Like, when I first discovered Twitch, the very first stream I saw was a guy called Spamfish. It's a legendary foulfish emote, if people don't know. And after that was another streamer called Co-Carnage, and like his thing is like extremely positive. And I just saw what he done on such a large scale, and I was like, man, I'd love to kind of have something similar where I didn't even know it was possible to have something so positive on the internet. It's like, that's freaking awesome. I want a version of that so I could spread some positivity to, even if it's just one person, then, if you can just do that every day, just, maybe make someone's day that 1% better. Mission
1%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Saving the world one stream at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what actually got you into streaming altogether? Was it just the idea of spreading the positivity, or was there something more to it than that? Just the streaming part of it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw Twitch, I was just saying, like, when I see some of these streamers like Spamfish and like the massive streamers like Co-Carnage, what they do in such a positive way, and I just thought I'd like to try that.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you start on Twitch, or did you try a different venue first?
No. I started on Twitch. I wanted to go like full ham for it, so I said to myself, I'll try and do 30 days consecutively. And we started. I think it was like December 29th.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was really weird kind of day to start streaming. It's like, Christmas is done. Got nothing to do for a little bit of time. Why don't we just start streaming on Twitch? Yeah.
Now, you are part of Epic Streamers. Tell people about that and what really interested you in being part of that.
Originally, Lace approached me. She'd been lurking in my stream for a while and said, "Hey, doing this new thing called Epic Streamers. It might not take off, it might not be anything. But, do you want to join and see what happens with that?" And To be honest, it's been absolutely, I can't think of any other word apart from epic to describe it. We just had the last monthly giveaway, which was said absolutely sensational by someone you had on your show before, Wicked Beth.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely bossed it. And it's just, you see a lot of taglines like that, you know, it's kind of like, it's a family and these kind of things. And it really is. There's not many. It's such a unique community where everyone just kind of looks after one another. It's very positive. It's really freaking awesome. And, you know, it's just an honor, honestly, just to be part of it.
Now, have you been affiliated with any other communities prior to Epic that you could probably compare it to?
Possibly like the large one, like the Coalition.
Mm-hmm.
But not involved as heavy. So, but there are very few communities that could get anywhere close to Epic, you know, even on Twitch. Just for how personal it is, you know.
Right, absolutely. Now you mentioned the Epic giveaway that just happened a few days ago. You were actually the host of the very first Epic giveaway. I think that was for Destiny 2.
Oh, second.
Was it the second?
Sorry to correct you. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, late on the first one.
Okay, I'm sorry. I guess I forgot.
You were wrong.
I'm sorry.
Just like your choice of
I need a
phone.
correction. My brain's not been working like it was, but it's fine. It's fine. But the fact that you have been a part of a big Epic giveaway and all the attention is brought to you for one entire day, was that nerve-wracking? Did you feel any challenges with that?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Which is kind of a weird answer. It's definitely like there's only been one scenario as far as streaming on Twitch where I thought like, oh crap, kind of this is a bit, I don't know how I feel about this, but definitely not with the Epic giveaway. It's just like because it's like a celebration, right?
That's what it feels like.
You've been there yourself for it, and like it's just a massive kind of celebration that it does promote a lot of things. Like it will, you know, there's the possibility of extra eyes on you. You know, it's very important on Twitch eventually if you want to make it to be able to generate more revenue. So in those kind of senses, like there's added bonuses, but it's kind of like you're just throwing a big party and it's some of your closest friends there. So it's
I never really thought of it that way.
It's kind of like an open house, you know. Everybody come in, check it out, see if you want to buy the house.
Yeah, that was actually a very good analogy. I never thought of it that way, but I like that. That's how I'll start to view it from now on. It's a big party.
There you go. You can have that one.
Thank you. Are there, as a streamer, are there any problems that you encounter on a daily basis? Because with a few of the other streamers we've spoken of, they have their own set of problems. But I think with you, I can't imagine there would be the same set of problems. Now, granted, there will be a troll or two, but are there any specific challenges that you have or problems that you encounter regularly outside of just a regular troll?
Oh, what, trolling?
Yeah, or even anything beyond that would be problematic.
Not really. I mean, it comes down to the individual, right? Like, I've always kind of had the mindset I do what I want, and if people don't like it, then, particularly as far as Twitch, there's 10,000 probably other live streamers. So, you know, if someone didn't like it, then, you know, they can just fudge off.
Right.
So, I think it comes down to mindset. For me, no, because I'm always quite, I guess, maybe set in my ways.
Right.
So I don't think challenges, no.
Okay. Well, that's good, though. That's good. And, man, I'm glad you're here with us today. You're going to chime in on our news. We're going to move on to our segments now. First of all, is there a game that you've been playing here lately that you're fond of? It doesn't have to be on stream, just something that you've been playing on your own time, maybe.
You know, this week, I didn't trash the game, but Warhammer Total War 2, I've been playing a lot of it this week, and I'm not a fan of Warhammer, but I'm a massive fan of Total War.
No, I don't think I've ever played the first one or this one. I saw you playing it, though.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And the thing for me is how different all three different races play, right? Because generally with Total War games, it's kind of like there isn't too much difference, but with this new version, you've got the like these lizard people, and you can have these big freaking dinosaurs, and it's so much fun. It's absolutely great fun.
Nice.
And yeah, all three races play uniquely different. I'm not really into Warhammer and all that kind of magic-y kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've been freaking loving it, man.
Nice.
Really loving it.
Todd, what have you been playing?
I have played. Well, I got Shadow of War, but due to HughesNet, it's taken 9.5 hours to download a 1 gigabyte update. So I have not yet played the game.
Wow.
But I have seen the disc, like when it shows up on your PS4, it's there. I can look at it. I can't play the damn thing. So I have played, I'm going to resort back to, I played Killing Floor 2 with you.
That's right, you did.
And I have played 7 Days to Die. And had a good time. I'm getting way better at that game. Beth does not have to come in and save me every 5 minutes.
That's good. That's very good. I'm glad you're getting better at it.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about Shadow of War and later, but now I know which way that's going to go since your internet's being funny.
Sucks.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
At Mammoth, in case you haven't heard, he has a problem with his internet on a weekly basis.
It's just,
Okay.
it would be, it's the equivalent of putting a trash can on your roof. That's the same internet connection I get with HughesNet.
Okay, that's freaking bad then.
Yeah, it's the only choice I have right now. Sucks.
Oh, that sucks, man. That sucks. I hear that's a problem quite a lot in America.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
He's making America great again, though.
But
Jesus.
we'll just not get on
Christ.
that. I've been playing Injustice 2. I got that over the last weekend as a gift, and enjoying it quite a bit. It's been nice.
It looked nice.
Yeah. I've got a few little quirks about it that I don't really care for, but they're minor in the overall. It's more of a, you know how sometimes voices just don't match the characters. Like I said, it's a very minor gripe. It's just like, but it's nothing. It's nothing. It's not a game breaker for me anyway.
What characters though?
Aquaman's one that just the voice does not fit the character, and I think it's because I know who the voice actor is.
Who is it?
He's a voice actor by the name of Phil Lamar.
Don't know him. Does he work with us?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
He's actually quite prominent in the voice industry. He did Samurai Jack.
Oh, yeah.
He did Hermes Conrad on Futurama.
Okay.
He did the original Green Lantern on the Justice League cartoon, which he does in this one as, another side character. So that voice coming out of Aquaman doesn't quite fit. That's one of those. Yeah.
It's kind of like your Samsung phone.
It's a mic. I'm going to move on to news since we're going to start bashing my phone. I actually got the very first story that I had to pencil this in last minute because I saw this got posted right after I'd put this together. Humble Bundle has been acquired by IGN.
Saw that.
I didn't really see too much on that other than they had their basic press release that came out that stated, everything's going to be business as usual. But for me, I have seen that statement before, and I won't name names, but Todd, we kind of work for a company that gave that same press release, and we know firsthand that is not the case. So I'm curious to see maybe at first if this will remain that way, but what they might change over time. Now, do you guys have any thoughts on what they might do to Humble Bundle over time?
I don't see IGN really changing Humble Bundle quite a bit. What would IGN know about that?
Correct.
So
right.
It's kind of like, hey, just come under our umbrella and you do your thing. As long as you don't go out of business, you're good. Because if I'm correct, they're like free-to-play games, right? Something like that?
Not all the time, not necessarily.
But mostly, that's what they're known for.
Cheap bundles of games.
Okay, this one, yeah, okay. But I just don't see them changing it a whole lot, really.
Right.
The only thing that's kind of a little bit weird about it it's kind of about like when any review site with IGNR pick up something like this, it's kind of like, does it then make their reviews just even less creditable,
Right.
It's true,
so,
yeah.
From that part, it's kind of like, I don't know that I like this.
Yeah.
But I mean, review sites are only subjective anyway. So see, I've never really used them. Like some of their deals are like, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's one of those that we just have to wait and see how it plays out.
Right. Yeah. I've made one minor purchase from Humble, and that was just because I had no other option. So I don't know, but I agree with what you say. You kind of look on there, it's like, oh, hey, it's pretty good, but I don't leap at it, or the deals that they have. So I really couldn't say either, but I'm a little weary that this will kind of change them over time. Maybe not immediately, but over time.
Yeah,
So,
I could see that over time.
Mm-hmm. The next story that I have is about Red Dead Redemption 2. We did get to see the trailer recently, and we mentioned it on one of our last shows. I'm excited about it. You guys excited about Red Dead Redemption 2? Yeah, because
I think everyone is.
Well, after closer inspection, I guess after the excitement died down, it seems that 2 returning characters were seen within the trailer, and it has brought up more speculation. Now, if you may remember in the first game, John Marston was our protagonist, and he was sent after his former gang members. 2 of those targets were Bill Williamson and the gang leader, Dutch Vanderlyn. Mm-hmm. Dutch had a bit role in the trailer. You could actually heard his name was dropped, and he even had a few seconds of screen time. Now, from what was seen, he actually appears to have a central role in this storyline, considering that the new protagonist, Arthur Morgan, is a member of his gang. So with that being said, spotting Bill Williamson as well within the trailer, even for a split second, not all that surprising. So for me, with their appearances in the game, the question becomes, is this a sequel or is it a prequel?
That's what I was going to say.
So
It'd be awesome if it was
what do you
a prequel.
think?
I'm going to say prequel.
Prequel?
Yeah, I'm going to say prequel.
What about you, man? Sequel or prequel?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like, I think it makes perfect sense for it being a prequel. And is it kind of weird that in a way, like, I don't care what they can do, a prequel or sequel. I just want to play it now. Yeah.
Right.
Release it now. Just don't worry about it.
Have they given a date?
Yes, this fall.
Fall. This fall?
Or no, 2018.
Oh,
sorry.
I was
fall
about to say, wow, we're almost through fall.
Yeah, I believe
it's Q2. Book fall.
So probably close to summer.
Yeah, summer, into summer, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Before,
That's usually about when they come.
Easter, yeah, it'd be April to June. That would be.
Me personally, I guess, in a way, a prequel would be fine. I guess at the same time, I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel, and those could be flashbacks. But I guess based from what we're seeing, it's probably more of it probably will be a prequel, but I think I would prefer a sequel just out of sheer curiosity to see where the story would go forward.
I don't know, man. I want to know what got up to that point. Why did Marston leave?
Mm-hmm. And that definitely could play into that, because we would definitely see him again, I would imagine, if you're doing a prequel.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Because he was such a good character. I hated that they killed him.
But that would also beg the question, if you're doing a prequel, why not just go back to John Marston?
Because you played him already. They don't ever do the same character twice.
No, I mean, I agree, but people are going
to... They might do what they've done before, with GTA 5, where you play as more than one character. So that way,
that was the
really
rumor.
Open up the story potential.
No, I can see that.
That has been a rumor because they showed that whole, posse kind of riding together. Are you going to swap in between them?
That could very well be. Okay. Well, there's some food for thought right there.
It was good. Mm-hmm. Delicious.
I like it. Little tidbit I have here having to do with the game Agents of Mayhem. The game saw very, very deep discounts this week, recently down to about $20. And this is like after, 2-3 months after release? I think it released in August.
Yeah.
So, that's not even 2 months yet. It kind of lends a little bit of credibility to our story that we reported, where Volition was laying off quite a bit of their staff. I really don't want to see this franchise die, even though it's not technically Saints Row. It's still kind of within that idea. I wish I'd have bought it, but when it came out, but I didn't. I feel like a terrible fan, but
you're the reason they're laying people off.
I know. They always say one person makes all the difference, and look what I've done.
Good job.
I know.
Jesus.
No, I mean I would like to play it. I have heard that there are a few issues with it, and that could have easily led to why no one was really caring to play it. I also feel like the lack of it not being Saints Row what people are familiar with also hurt it. Because it
Right.
did. They didn't really make it clear from the get-go. It took me a minute to realize that was even what it was. So I kind of felt like that really hurt the sales as well.
They should have called it Saints Row Agents of Mayhem.
I think that would have helped a great bit, because not everybody digs deep and researches games like we do. You know, they just see it from the box, and if they saw the name Saints Row, it might have been a selling point for them. Like, oh, I remember that game, and then they would have bought it. So
You throw a pink dildo in there and call it Saints Row Agents of Mayhem, and everybody buys that game.
exactly,
Why didn't they use the Saints Row name then?
because they wanted to make it stand apart, because it's doesn't play like Saints Row, but it is still set in the universe in a way, but an alternate universe. It gets complicated. So that probably had something to do with it. Like they were trying to start a new IP without starting a new franchise. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a tricky scenario, and I think it kind of bit them in the back end. Anyway, but we'll see how that turns out. Maybe it won't be the end of it. Next little tidbit I have is I don't know if you saw that on Steam. We've spoken of Denuvo. It's the anti-piracy tool that they use on Steam to ensure that no one hacks their games and tools around with them. Well, apparently Middle-earth Shadow of War was cracked in just a day, even though it had Denuvo installed with it. And this is actually following 2 recent hacks of Total War, Warhammer 2, and FIFA 18. I think despite what they do, hackers are going to hack. It's going to happen.
Hackers gonna hack.
They're going to find a way through.
Yep.
So I hate that it's happening, but I think this is almost their message of saying stop putting it on there. But they're going to have to come up with something different, because I understand why they're doing it. You know,
Yeah,
they're trying
at
to
the
stop
same-
piracy.
You're not gonna ever stop piracy. They've been doing it since VHS. Come on.
I know, but you know,
It's an
people.
ongoing battle, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's just going to get more difficult over time. The more technology advances, they're always going to catch up. Someone's going to find a way to break through. Speaking of Shadow of War, apparently some keen-eyed players, and I use that with the utmost sarcasm, have found a way to bypass microtransactions in the game. Now, apparently by refusing to check the box in the Terms of Service screen, this will prompt a message saying offline gameplay warning, and then it will state you will not be able to access any of the online features of Shadow of War until you agree to the data uses described on the prior screen. This includes access to the market and online gameplay modes. Are you sure you want to continue? Answering yes, you will be cut off from the online services. To me, this is essentially the equivalent of turning off your internet,
Which would be good for me.
because you're still going to be getting you're still going to be
Switch
getting
that son of a bitch off every day.
But I mean, you're still going to be getting the same game, the same experience without the market. Now, that was one thing I did want to ask you. And I hate that you haven't played it yet, because I want to know
That's what I want to know.
how that really integrates into it, because the way people talk, it's such a big deal. But I can't imagine they would have integrated it in so heavily.
Well, I read a thing that said they're not really that big of a deal, but like I want to know what they are too, because like is it pay to play? Like do I have to pay something to keep going?
Right. And that's sometimes I feel like people oversimplify these things and they make it sound like something it's not.
Yeah,
And
they
this
do that.
this to me seems like one of those scenarios. But again, I've not played it, so I couldn't say for sure. And that's what I was kind of hoping.
Well, all it takes is for one person to get pissed off because they want something and they feel like it ought to be unlocked in the game, and then they start saying all this just false stuff about it,
Right.
fake news.
And I'm so glad you said that, because that's a perfect segue into our next
We're
story.
going to talk about Donald Trump in Puerto Rico.
No. It's about one person making the difference and blowing up a big story. Have you ever heard of a game on PC called the Kerbal Space Program?
No, never.
I've heard of it and seen someone play it, but
Okay.
yeah, that's about much.
Well, it was recently reviewed bombed on Steam due to a recent change in the make of the game, or to make the game more inclusive. Back in June, there was a thread on the game Steam forums that highlighted a space shuttle in the background of the game menu. The shuttle has a Chinese phrase written on the side of it, which translates to, "Without reaching Mun, you are not a good male." Someone in the game forum posted this was a sexist remark, so the developer squad has since changed the phrase, but apparently it didn't go over so well because a review bomber argued that the new phrase, despite some of the characters that could actually be identified as a gender-neutral character, meaning brave and strong hero, actually harkens back to an old Chinese phrase saying, "You are not a true man if you never got to the Great Wall." So, despite other negative reviews calling the developer squad out for being too politically correct or for bowing under pressure, they actually did this on their own. They weren't pressured into doing this. The game does include female astronauts, so this change could have been performed to ensure inclusion. Overall, for the game, the reviews have been positive, but it's unclear whether this will affect its sales now. As I said before we got into this, I feel like this was something that got bent way out of proportion.
Happens all the time now.
Like,
I'm tired of it.
Oh yeah, I actually read a story was presented to me the other day about something. I won't get into it here, but it was just you have to wonder where people's minds are anymore to take something so minute and blow it into something so proportionate. It's the make a mountain out of a molehill scenario. I mean,
right.
For sure. So I guess I don't understand the frustration. I'm not Chinese. I don't understand that the culture clearly. So maybe I don't get it from their perspective.
So was the Chinese the one making...
It was a Chinese player.
Oh.
So perhaps there was something we're missing in translation. But that shows that this type of mentality it's worldwide now, for me. Yeah. That's the way I see it.
Thank you, Facebook.
Yeah.
People love to complain.
Oh, yeah. It's like fuel anymore. They love it.
Facebook is like a big, what do you call it, soapbox?
Oh, yes. Everybody has a voice on Facebook.
Yeah.
I know that some people are actually more vocal on Facebook than they will be to your face.
Yeah, because they're scared.
Oh, you think?
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, let's get on to something even better. This actually got me excited. On October 31st of this year, an 8-bit adventure anthology, Volume 1, will be arriving on Xbox One, PS4, and PC, and will play host to 3 cult classic games.
Yay.
I'm hoping that you guys have heard of these, because when I saw it, I knew exactly what they were. I remember playing them as a child, and I loved them so, and I can't wait to play these. Shadowgate.
Don't remember it.
The Uninvited.
I remember that.
And Deja Vu.
Remember that? Looked like a Dick Tracy on the front of the cover?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember it.
You don't remember these, man?
Never heard of any of them.
Okay. The company Abstraction Games, they're the developer behind this. They've actually had their name attached to various titles as adapters, usually helping games run better when they're ported. I've seen their name attached to games like Hotline Miami, Danganronpa, Don't Starve. The games that I remember, these games, I remember playing them on the old Nintendo, the NES. They, for me, could have easily been like old PC games because they had that kind of point and click mentality to them, but they weren't quite that.
Kind of like Maniac Mansion, maybe?
Not quite like Maniac Mansion, because Maniac Mansion definitely had that point and click because you had the screen up here and then you had the commands down at the bottom. This was more, you had that screen right at the top. I think it was like the top left corner was everything that you needed to see. Then you had your items to the right of that, and then at the bottom you'd have the text. And it was a game. Each one of them essentially played the same way, and it was a puzzle game in a manner of speaking, but a story at the same time. And how you presented and how you proceeded in every scenario played out how you would expect. So if you did something stupid like lit a torch and then used it on yourself, you would burn and die.
That's what really would happen.
Yeah. So there weren't those, moments where they says, how's this going to play out? Let me see. It does nothing. No, it would kill you. So it was, you really had to think about what you were doing. It was very simple in design, but puzzles were there. The story was there. I remember playing it. It actually creeped me out. I think Shadowgate creeped me out more than anything because of the designs. And especially at that time, I'm not very old. I don't remember playing games like that. This is probably one of my first forays into a horror type game.
Did that have like a demon on the front of it? Or like a pentagram or something?
I don't think so. I think that had more. No, maybe like a gargoyle.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. I can't
I feel
remember.
like I've
100%.
seen that when I was at Walmart when I was little.
It could be
At the Walmart.
at the Walmarts.
At the Walmart.
Well, Mammoth, I definitely want you to check these out because I think you would dig them. You might not. I don't know. What kind? Let me ask you that. I guess I should have asked you that earlier. What kind of games do you like?
I hate to sound really blasé, but I kind of like all games though. Really,
Well, that's good. That's good.
I'm willing. Like, if it's a good game,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm willing to try it. I'm not a big fan of puzzle games. Really, I guess would be the one where I'm like, I don't like that too much.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like to think too much when I'm gaming. Really. But
No, that's fair.
yeah, I kind of like all games really.
Okay. And I wouldn't really say this being too blasé. I mean, I would say that, I would give every game a chance, but at some point there will be some that I just be like, well, I'm not too like a racing game. I think we've talked about that. Todd and I have racing games. I wouldn't go out of my way to play it, but if it was handed to me and I played it, I probably would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like we discussed, I think it was Need for Speed Most Wanted. Never would have picked it up and played it for any reason because it just wasn't my forte. But it was given away for free on PS Vita one time, and I thought, what the hell, sure, it's a free game. I played it, and I played it consistently for about 2 weeks because I was just enjoying it. Yeah. So again, it really just depends. It might not look appealing to me at first, but if I play it, I probably will enjoy it if it's a good game.
Soundtrack as well. Like there's some racing games that are absolutely amazing soundtracks. Like, did you ever play Burnout Paradise?
Yes, loved it.
I haven't, no.
It's awesome.
The soundtrack alone, it's just one of those just iconic games, man. I wish they still made the Burnout games. Gran Turismo, obviously new one coming out this week is that. But just racing games bring out some of the most freaking amazing soundtracks.
They really do.
I don't know if you guys remember Rock and Roll Racing back on the Super Nintendo years ago.
I feel like I remember the name.
The only reason I got excited for this game, I think it was developed by Interplay, and they were pretty innovative at the time. They had, granted, they weren't the actual songs because I don't think they could have ever pulled that off on a Super Nintendo. But they used soundtracks for old game or for like old rock and roll songs like Peter Gunn. I think they had what's the name of that song?
Come on, man.
I'm trying. Born to Be Wild. Gosh, man.
Wow.
I'm telling you, man. It's words are hard. I think they even had Black Sabbath's Paranoid on there. Was another good one. It was just cool that they had access to these songs and they were playing as you were racing.
Right.
Even though they weren't the original songs, they were there in presence. A little MIDI sounds. So it was pretty cool.
We know what that is.
Okay. Well, we got a little off the topic here, but I'm going to explain the full details of these games to see if they might entice you. Now, Shadowgate. Now, granted, I didn't write these. These are the official descriptions of the games.
So they're going to be dressed up with big words.
Now, can I do it in a very unique way? Can I really get you excited for it?
What do you want? What kind of idea do you have?
Like with Shadowgate, you got to get into that.
A dark place.
Like this. A wind whistles through the silent halls as you step through the stone threshold. You've just entered Shadowgate, a once shining castle, now an evil, dark, smoldering ruin. Swallow your fear and take up your torch.
Wait, do it like Liam Neeson.
You are the seed of prophecy, and in your hands lie the fate of the world itself.
Way better. Okay. Way better.
I tried. That's Shadowgate.
You sold it.
Yeah, thank you. Now, for the uninvited, do you have a preference there?
Let's see. What was this game about?
Kind of in the same thing. I think it's more of a mansion as opposed to a castle, but I remember it kind of having a similar feel.
Hey, can you do it like Gandalf?
Gandalf. The last thing you remember was a figure appearing in the middle of the road and the sound of your sister's screams over the screeching tires. When you come to, you discover two horrifying things. Your sister is missing, The mansion that now looms before you seems to be calling your name. That is The Uninvited.
I want to play that game now.
All right, awesome. And now,
Deja vu. I want a straight up gumshoe right here.
ooh, all right, gumshoe. Any particular?
Man, like Bugsy Siegel. What's his name?
Oh,
Bugsy.
Bugs. All right, I think it's 1942, and you wake up in a shitty bathroom with no idea how you got here, or for that matter, who you are. You grab your .38 hanger from the door, stumble up the stairs, and find some stiff slumped over a desk and 3 bullet holes in him. You check your gun, 3 bullets are missing.
God damn.
This is gonna be a bad day.
Very bad day.
Very bad day.
I'm already sold.
See, well, that's all I had to do. Just the voices help.
I still like last week when you did
They're
Herbert.
paying you, but they're not paying you enough.
I pay him in Oktoberfest.
He did. He has the last time. So that was fair. But that is... We didn't have a lot of news this week, but that was it. But guess what time it is for now?
I bet it's the weird news time.
Weird news.
Weird news.
Weird news. This is the only weird news I saw this week, but it's weird enough that I was like, well, yeah, I've got to bring this up. Have you heard of the game coming up, WWE 2K18? Are either of you
comes
wrestling
out every
fans?
year.
Yeah, every year, yeah.
Okay. Did you know that Colonel Sanders from KFC is going to be a playable character?
He is jacked in that damn little picture of him.
Oh my god, that's true?
Yes, it is very true. Okay. Now,
I want the Nashville Hot.
the announcement was actually made during a Hell in the Cell pay-per-view event, which is co-presented by KFC. The event saw Kevin Owens facing Shane McMahon in a steel structure, along with the Colonel himself facing off against his rival. Do you know who his rival is?
The Rock.
Do you know who his rival is?
No. Oh, Ronald McDonald?
No.
Who?
It is Puppers Cluckers Chicken.
Oh, shit.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either. They should have done like Popeye.
Well, but then that would have been cross promotion, and then they would have
Bojangles could have rode out. They could have had a dude called Bojangles.
Bo Jangles, Mr.
Yeah.
Bo,
Yeah, Mr. Bojangles.
Mr. Jangles.
Mr. Jangles.
Okay. Obviously, this is a marketing ploy. I actually, did you guys say that y'all were into wrestling or at all?
I've played them. I enjoy them. They're fun. But I hadn't played one in played 10 years.
The old ones were good, weren't they? Like, really good.
Yeah. Now, me personally, I'm not a wrestling fan by any means, but I have enjoyed a few wrestling games. Like there was one on the old N64s called No Mercy. I think that was the very first one. Yes, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, No Mercy was like probably the first wrestling game I got obsessed with.
Oh man, you never got obsessed with like pro wrestling on Nintendo?
Well, no, with this you had the ability to create characters, and I had rosters upon rosters of characters that me and a friend of mine, we created tons. And we actually did brackets, and I'm serious, I was obsessed with this game. But we had fun. We would actually set up the matches to watch these characters fight each other that we had created. That's how obsessed we were. It was fun. And I played a few since then. I guess the only draw for me with these games are the creative characters. If they are really well done, right. I want to create my character. I want to put my character into these matches. So. But no, those were fun, and I guess this would be kind of cool. If I had the ability to create Colonel Sanders, I've created worse on WWE.
He had the white jacket on with the sleeves ripped out.
He did.
In the picture.
Mammoth, if you haven't seen this picture, go look it up. Colonel Sanders, WWE 2K18. You won't be disappointed.
It's awesome.
Okay.
His arms are bigger than my legs.
Yeah, the Colonel was ripped. But yeah, that was the only weird news I saw this week. So now we're going to get on to our topics. We have 2 topics to talk about today. One, I don't really feel like will be a huge point of contention. I just felt like it would be worth bringing up in the topics. Okay. Because this first one, I can't imagine this is going to be a huge debate for us, but it might be. So we'll see. There was a debate that started recently, I'd say over the last week or two, about loot boxes in games. Games like Forza Motorsport, Shadow of War, and of course the upcoming Battlefront 2, they're offering randomized loot boxes for a price. Now this led to a question being asked is whether or not this constituted gambling. Now, the ESRB had responded saying that they do not consider loot boxes to be gambling. Now, while there is an element of chance in the mechanics, the player is always guaranteed to receive an in-game piece of content, even if the player unfortunately receives something they do not want. We do think of it as a similar principle to collectible card games, where you open a pack,
Right.
you maybe get brand new holographic card that you've had your eye on, but other times you'll end up with a pack of cards you already have. PEGI, which is the Pan-European Game Information, also issued a statement on the matter, saying that their approach is similar to the SRB, but more due to the fact that they cannot define what constitutes gambling, that they believe that that is the responsibility of the National Gambling Commission.
It is. I agree.
Now, my stance on it before I pass it along to you two, I do agree with the ESRB here. It does suck that you pay your money and then you get the same stuff that you got. At the end of the day, you are still getting something. With lottery tickets, you plop money down and it's a chance of win or lose. And sometimes you lose and you get nothing. Here you are paying for something. You're always getting something. Therefore, I feel like it negates the idea of gambling.
Right.
Because the whole purpose of gambling is paying money for a chance to win more, but you're not guaranteed to win anything at all. You know, even if it is a free ticket. Comparing them to a card game, you know, like the trading cards, Pokemon cards, whatever,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that's a little bit off.
No, it's not.
This is the only argument I have with that. I say to a point, simply because if you get cards, you have an opportunity to trade them with someone. You can't trade your gear you get from Shadow of War or Battlefront with someone else because
Right.
you don't want it. Cards, you have an opportunity to still get a better card. You just have to find someone to trade with. That would be my only argument.
It's the same as, and I don't know why nobody's talked about it before. They've done this on like Madden, like those the Ultimate Teams. Mm-hmm. You know, you buy the pack. You're guaranteed a 5-star player if you pay this amount of money, and 3 silver players and this and that. Well, you might get the same damn players you already had.
Right.
But now, just now, they're starting to talk about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, but I think it's starting to become more prevalent, and more people are starting to do it to where it's starting to take on a life where people are seeing it so much that they're like, oh, no, wait a minute, I don't like this.
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
you know, when one game does it, that's one thing, but when numerous games are doing it at the same time, I think that's where people start to take note. Because even Injustice, I believe they have that same, I don't know if it's you're paying in-game currency or like game currency.
right?
But I do know that there is a chance the mother boxes to get gear, you know, those are randomized, and you can buy those.
Can you unlock them in the game?
There was an option. I've not done it where it says buy, but I'm assuming it's the in-game currency. But you also have the option to buy the in-game currency through the store, so you can buy that. So it would essentially be the same thing if you're going to do that. If you're going to pay money,
Right.
just to get currency.
Definitely don't think it's gambling, though.
To me, it is gambling. If we look at some of the sites that have popped up, like this, if we take the Counter-Strike ones, right? Mm-hmm. So like a lot of them, like CS:GO Lotto. There's been a few people that enrolled for that one that got taken to court, and they lost and had to pay a large sum of money out because it was deemed by the courts as on that case in England to do with they said it was they linked it towards with gambling, and obviously they were trying to incentivize children to use the site for using influencers. There was T. Martin and another 2 influencers. I can't remember the names. Mm-hmm. But to me, it is a form of gambling. People get addicted to these things. I've never seen a story on the news where man gets addicted to buying Pokemon cards and racks up a huge amount of debt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
to me,
fair enough.
I do think it is a form of gambling. I myself, as a responsible adult and someone who's been previously a successful businessman, still racked up spending several thousand on Madden one year.
Yeah.
So, is it? To me, it is. Yeah. I mean, particularly when you look on stuff like Steam, right? Mm-hmm. Say I'll get this. Say I've spent like £100 on buying all these boxes for CS:GO for this one skin. I get that one skin, and I can then sell that one skin as well on the marketplace for real money. So To me, it is gambling, yeah.
Right.
People are getting addicted to this big time, and it's a big issue. But, I mean, I'm not surprised by it.
Yeah.
Right.
Now with that argument in mind, I can see where you're going with that, because I never thought about an addiction to it. And I can, we kind of talked about it in I think it was last week. What was it? We were talking about mobile games and their purchases.
Yeah,
where
you have to pay to play the rest of the day. You have to buy a chip or something to play today.
And I don't know if you heard, Mammoth. I spoke about it last week, and where I had spent a large chunk of money. Didn't realize it. It was just something that happened over time. And I can definitely see where you're talking about here. Anyone could easily do this, thinking, I want to get this one thing. There is that bit of obsession about it, where you just have this innate desire to want to get that, and you're going to just say, you justify it to yourself, I can just pay this now and get this little bit, and maybe I'll get it, maybe I don't. But you'll continue to justify the small amounts, not realizing what it's going to amount to in the long run. So, yes, I can kind of see it from a gambling obsession problem, addiction. So, yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
Well, you got to think about what he said with the little kids. The kids are in there, and how many of them don't, ask their mom for, or dad for permission? They just hit the button, and then all of a sudden you got $1,000 worth of debt. They don't know. They don't understand. That happened to us, like on a mobile game. Like our little girl charged like $90 worth of stuff, and it was just a one button push. That's all she had to do. Even though we had it set where you had to put the password in each time, because she was doing it so fast, it was going straight through anyway. But they gave us our money back, so I was happy with that.
Well, that's a plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think that could be a whole other topic for another day.
Yeah.
Just getting into that. But no, I feel like that was a pretty good topic. We covered some interesting ground. I don't think there's any other point of contention there that I can see.
Oh, there's always points of contention.
Well, yeah, but I mean, not between us. I think we've kind of covered.
Maybe.
Well, what else do you have to say about it?
Oh, nothing. I don't have anything to say.
Well, good. Then I'm going to move on to our next topic.
Okay. Well, I do want to touch on one thing.
What is that?
That I think that while it could be considered gambling, having a Samsung phone is gambling instead of an iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah. How so?
I don't know. I mean, just
because you don't know what you're going to get. I know what I'm getting with a Samsung. I don't know what I'm getting with an iPhone.
But I know the quality that I get with my iPhone.
Is it good quality anymore? Because I've kind of heard
it's quality, dude.
You know what? We're getting.
Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting off topic. That's a whole nother topic. Next topic was I found an article this week that stated some mid-sized developers are in the kind of in point of agreement that they believe that the gaming market has suddenly become oversaturated with games. There used to be a window during the year when game releases would slow, usually around the summertime.
Right.
Now, every week, we do game release dates and stuff like that. We always have something new releasing, AAA games, early access titles, beta tests, DLCs, expansions, you name it. There's always something coming out. They mentioned that this is uncomfortable. They feel like it's uncomfortable to consumers, and on that point, I would kind of agree. I can't keep up with games anymore. I don't even attempt to try.
Oh, it's hard to even play all your games anymore.
Because you feel like you've got such a backlog, and there's always something new coming out. In saying that, I also feel like that some of the smaller games that come out get lost in these sea of larger titles because they get the bigger
I think
promotion.
That's the ones that come out more during the summer.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's in turn detrimental to developers, indie ones more specifically, because their games get lost in the shuffle. They struggle to find financing. That's where you kind of see that push on Kickstarter and things like that now, self-funding, and that always doesn't produce the game that people expect.
Right.
So my question to you, Mammoth, I'll let you start. Are there too many games in the market, and why do you think there are or aren't?
Are there too many games? Yeah, there probably are. Well, I suppose it's... I mean, I'm not quite sure exactly why. I mean, I'll be interested. Maybe with stuff like the Kickstarter, I guess production costs have come down considerably. Mm-hmm. So it's quite easy to develop your own game. I think, wasn't it? One person, I think, done the coding and all that for Stardew Valley. So think it took him. I think the game took in completion about 10 years to make or something.
Wow,
something like
I
that.
did not know that.
So if it's, I imagine that's a part of it. I mean, there are a lot of crap games. Is the problem, isn't there? That's
for
the
sure.
biggest issue with it.
Yeah, there's a
It's
ton.
quality and how we can just filter out some of the crap. I mean, AAA developers are trying to spread their games right across now. Like, you see it now that before it was always biggest games at Christmas. Now it's the Easter slot is probably more. It's generally like last year. That was packed more
Yeah.
than this Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
You had Horizon Zero Dawn.
Zelda.
I think that's when Neo come out. Mass Effect was near that time as well.
Zelda came
Rockstar
out.
loved that time of year tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everyone's just looking for that slice of pie. I think there's more developers around, and so there's just more content around.
Yeah, I agree. I think that after you have Christmas time around, before Thanksgiving on to Christmas, everybody tries to beat that holiday rush. That's when the AAA games come out. You see, I guess like fewer indie games seem to come out then, and I know there's still some, but then after Christmas, it seems like that's where Sony has been pushing their big games, like you said, Easter. February, around my birthday, the end of February, beginning of March, on into April, that seems like that's where a lot of those games start to come out that don't want to contend with Call of Duty and all those just huge third-party games. And then you have summertime is when the big indie games come out, it seems like, and then you have all, I don't want to call all of them trash, but there's a lot of trash games that just slide out. And you see the artwork, and you're like, man, I want to try that game. And next thing you know, you spent $4.99 on a piece of junk. Mm-hmm. And there's just so much. The AAA games, like, they come out sparingly throughout the year until the holiday, but the marketplace is flooded with the middle tier developers and indie developers.
Right.
But there are some really good games in there in the middle of them. Not all of them's trash, but some of them really are.
Do you think there's a way that they're, in any way in the marketplace, do you think there's a way that we could, I guess maybe not us as consumers, but maybe the industry itself could find a way to put those games up on a pedestal versus letting them get lost in the shuffle? Because I know PlayStation, from what I've seen, I don't know if Steam does it. I haven't really dealt with them too much yet, but if there's a good indie game title out there, they like to put it on their free monthly program.
Right.
Microsoft may do it as well, but they'll kind of set it up and just say, hey, you may have missed this one. Like I did that with Hotline Miami. I never did play it when it first came out, but when they put it on the free list for the month, I thought, well, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a look. And I fell in love with it immediately. And I kind of felt like that's what they do best is they take those good titles and just kind of showcase them to say, just in case you missed it, you may want to try this one out. But do you think there's anything else that somebody could do to correct that, to help the ones that actually are worth playing not get lost?
I think that program is a good way for them to do it. They give them a large sum of money. Mm-hmm. They can operate their business with that money, and they get a lot of notoriety from being on that program, the PlayStation Plus program. Mm-hmm. And for me, if I was doing a studio like that, the first thing I would go to is take that money and I would work on some kind of downloadable content to further my game, because you're going to make your money back if you make a good piece of downloadable content, if it's worth playing. Mm-hmm. But they also do, what is that, Summer of Play, where they take those 4 or 5 games and you get discounts for pre-ordering them, mm-hmm. and they put those 5 games on a pedestal, and they're usually really good games.
Yeah, very true.
All 5 of them. So if they would all do that, I think you would start seeing, hey, I got to get on this program. You would see the middle people maybe strive to be on that program, and that trash would kind of just slide off to the bottom, and you wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. Mm-hmm. I just worry about, because Atari back then, this is how the game market kind of fell through. Like just all that garbage games, all those, they started coming out. Nobody cared. There was no check on it or nothing. I think that led to Nintendo's seal of approval kind of thing. Mm-hmm. We're checking to make sure that this isn't garbage before we put it on our system.
Right.
I'm worried that's going to happen again. The bottom's going to fall out one day.
Yeah.
I hope it's not anytime soon, and I hope if it does, there's a net that catches all the stuff that's worth a damn, because I don't want to go without video games, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, if your game's good enough, people are going to hear about it word of mouth. I mean, if I was a small to medium developer, I mean, the first thing I'd want to do is I'd want a bunch of influencers, content creators that I'm just going to work with and say, hey, like, can you just play our game at different stages? I've seen a bunch more of that happen on Twitch, and I think that's freaking great. I'm not quite sure really what else they can do. I mean, when I'm always looking at a small game on Steam,
mm-hmm.
one thing I'll definitely always do is look at the reviews.
Right.
You know, that's the one good thing about Steam, so you know if something's going to be completely crap. But I'm not quite sure what else they can do, really. It's like, with the AAA games, they're always going to release content, regardless if you say, oh, you can only release, like, if somehow it became a thing that you can only release a game at one time of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's DLC right throughout the year. Like, if you take a game like Destiny, like, every few months, there's going to be a new DLC pack come out with like, new content. So there is no, I think, solution to it, really.
I don't know. We've talked numerous times about how we love indie games, and we just, there being an oversaturation, I think the fact that they are becoming more prominent, they are kind of adding to the problem.
Right.
But I don't mean that in a bad way. They're trying to get their foot in the door just the same as anybody else, and they've got to work harder. They really have to push to make that happen.
Well, okay, what was that one game it was an indie game, it was called like Black Tiger? Have you remember it? I think it was called Black Tiger.
I don't remember that one.
It was just a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Garbage. It looked like a freaking Super Nintendo just clone. It was just terrible looking. I mean, it didn't even look good.
Mm-hmm.
It looked more like a PS1, PS2 game.
Okay.
They wanted $19 for it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was trash, man. I mean, like, that does not need to be put. There needs to be a check somewhere where, like, look, your game is not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you that. Take it back to the drawing board. Make it better. Come back. Don't just let it slide onto the thing and let people look at it, because that's going to hurt everybody.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Steam, they did kind of a purge here recently where they were trying to get rid of, I don't want to say garbage games, but that's what they were. Just games that had absolutely no merit, no value to them whatsoever. They were just trash.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. So that to me, I don't want to say anything. I don't know who the developers are. I don't know who, produce these games, but I do know, I think we spoke about it a few weeks back. There are just some people out there who just produce garbage for the sake of just trying to see how much money they can make.
Right.
Fidget spinner game.
Yeah,
stupid. What is that?
He made $1 million.
Yeah, but he makes money because all he had to do was sell it for, $1?
Yeah.
And then he sells DLC for $50 if you want a gold-plated fidget spinner. That's ridiculous. But someone out there paid that money.
I know it.
Someone did.
No, because there is at least 1 million idiots.
Mm-hmm. So all you'd have to do is like, I can pay $1 for this. Why not? And I could just sit there and just play with this thing for doing nothing. It's not a game, as far as I'm concerned. There's no skill involved.
Well, I think they need to start doing it like the music industry, where like there's a ton of songs. Everybody can write a song, but you don't ever hear those crappy songs. They're not on iTunes. It needs to be something like that.
Yeah, but the game market has become easy to publish now, it seems, especially with...
Well, self-publishing is where...
Yeah, and I think Steam needs to start being a little bit... Well, I guess they are kind of doing that now. If they've purged, maybe they're starting to be a little bit more critical, because we know consoles, whether it be Nintendo or PlayStation, Microsoft, whatever, they're very critical. What comes on their console. To a point, I would say.
To a point. The PlayStation Store is full of garbage, dude.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
No, I think we've covered all bases. The problem is, Steam is trying to do what they can right now. But, this problem isn't just about just games as far as on PC or on console. I guess this problem is probably even worse on mobile, right?
Oh God,
yeah.
Yes. That's probably where it started.
So everyone wants to make a quick buck.
For sure.
So unless Steam are a bit more robust on what constitutes as a game, how much content it must have, then I can't see this ever-ending, really. I think it's just going to be one of those ever-ending battles. There's, everyone wants to make a quick buck, really.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah, like I said, right now, I can definitely agree with that. There's just way too much. I can't keep up. I know that I have at least 5 or 6 games that I haven't even touched yet because I just don't have the time, and there's just a lot that I want to play. But I guess at the same time, I can say, hey, that's good. At least I'll never run out of something to play. And I used to have that problem. So
Yeah, I did too. You know what? I went outside and played football.
That's right.
Now I can't go outside and play football anymore.
There's just too many games. Speaking of too many games, let's move on to our release dates. I'm actually going to go through 2 weeks worth of release dates because I hate to break it to everybody, but we're not going to be on next week.
Why not? You didn't even break it to me.
I'm breaking it to you now. Well, there's. I'll tell you off of, it's personal. I don't want to tell everybody.
Well, just say personal. You don't
It's
say, I'll
personal,
tell you
okay?
later.
Yeah. Okay,
Just
it's
say
personal. It's personal.
okay.
Personal. Sorry that I have to do that to you people, but
Steven got his period.
don't even. No. But no, I'm going to cover 2 weeks since I know ahead of time because sometimes I don't. Keep in mind that all release dates are subject to change. On October 17th, we have GT Sport for PS4. Elix, I've never heard of that. PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Etrian Odyssey 5, Beyond the Myth for 3DS. Rogue Trooper Redo for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. The highly anticipated South Park The Fractured But Whole for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And also WWE 2K18 for PS4 and Xbox One. I'm really looking forward to South Park, though.
Yeah. I'm
would
glad
like
it's
to play
finally
that.
coming out.
But,
It's going to be amazing.
Yes. On October 19th, we have Age of Empires, the Definitive Edition for PC. On October 20th, we have Fire Emblem Heroes for Nintendo Switch and Siberia for Nintendo Switch. Then on the following week, on October 24th, we have Destiny 2 finally arriving for PC, which I thought it was. Was it not?
No, I think it comes out. Yeah, it comes out a little later.
Huh. Okay. What do I know? Just Dance 2018 is coming out for PS4, Xbox One, Switch.
I know somebody that's going to love that.
Wii U, PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. Knights of Azure 2, Bride of the New Moon for PS4, Switch, and PC. I'm going to try with this one. Yomawari, Midnight Shadows for PS4, PC, and PS Vita. Then there is Road Rage for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Then finally, on October 27th, we have, this is a big day. A big day. We have Assassin's Creed Origins for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Then for the Nintendo Switch, Super Mario Odyssey, which I would love to play. I actually heard it got a perfect score from one
It's a Mario game.
I
They're
know.
going to give Mario perfect score every time.
Mario. Everybody loves Mario, despite how you feel about Nintendo.
I like Nintendo.
Okay.
I like my Super Nintendo.
All right. And then finally, we have Wolfenstein the New Colossus for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Mammoth, you looked excited.
Yes. I completely forgot that comes out this month as well. Like, it's someone used the kind of little message of like it's going to be Broketober, and it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's still so many freaking awesome games. Assassin's Creed looked one of the best in freaking years, man. I'm so pumped for that.
Yeah.
Going to Egypt, freaking love it.
Mm-hmm.
Wolfenstein, that game was. Did anyone play it last year when it came out?
Yeah, I played it. I've got it. It's awesome.
What were your thoughts on it?
I liked it. I thought it was great.
It was freaking great.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that. That one's literally flying on the radar for so many people.
I loved the downloadable content where you could you had the secret parts where you could go back into the old game. Did you see those where the dream sequences? It's like you were playing the original Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It's one of those games where it's flying on the radar with so many people, and it has so much potential. I just hope it can live up to the hype.
I think it will.
A little footnote, because I think I spoke to Mammoth about it. I don't know if I spoke to you about it, but did you hear the news story surrounding Wolfenstein the New Order, or the New Colossus, about Nazis being angry.
I'm 99.8% sure I saw that.
Yeah, it was. They were upset because there's anti-Nazi propaganda in the game.
You're a Nazi. We don't give a shit what you say.
Yeah. So if there are any Nazis listening,
F off.
yeah, I'm not sorry. I'm thank you for listening to our podcast. I really appreciate it, but we can't condone your actions and what you do. So sorry, not sorry, as the kids say today.
Sorry, not sorry, because you're cray-cray. They say that too.
There's something funny about that though as well. Like Call of Duty has gone for a similar thing, but apparently you can't use the word Nazis in some countries. I think it's like Germany, and I think there's a few other European countries you can't use that. You can't use the flag or any of that kind of stuff. So
interesting.
Yeah, I think they actually changed they altered it in Call of Duty World War II, right? Didn't they change it? Where
it's Axis versus like allies. So
well,
weird.
We've just got to make it proper for everybody. Political correctness, blah blah blah.
I like shooting Nazis. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, let's move on to something more positive. Our retro review. Yay! Woo. This is a game I dug up. I've been wanting to talk about it for a while. I'm kind of hoping that you two have at least heard of it. It's something that I feel like went under the radar with so many people, and I like to try to find those old games that no one ever played or paid attention to. Mystical Ninja, starring Goemon.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
This was for the Nintendo 64. Mammoth, does that sound familiar at all?
Never heard of it, mate.
Okay. Well, let me see if I can entice you to look it up. First of all, I wish I had the song here, but you have to hear the theme song.
It will be starting to play right now.
Wasn't that an awesome theme song? Anyway, Mystical Ninja starring Goemon is known as, here we go, I'm going to try my Japanese here.
This is the best part about this every week.
Gambare Goemon, Neo Momoyama, Bakufu no Adori.
You screwed that up.
I did. In rough translation in English, go for it, Goemon, Dance of the Neo Peach Mountain Shogunate. I like Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. It's simpler. It's a platform action adventure video game that was released by Konami on the N64 on August 7th in 1997, or in Japan, and April 16th, 1998 here in North America. May have been in the UK, hopefully, so maybe you can find it. It's the fifth entry in the Gambare Goemon series, the second Goemon game released in the North America. Do you remember Legend of the Mystical Ninja on the Super Nintendo? Does that sound familiar?
I feel like it's where maybe that's what I played.
You may have. It was a two-player side-scroller. I want to say kind of beat 'em up. Not. I don't want to use Final Fight as an example, but kind of in that where it was.
Were the characters little sprite characters?
Sort of. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And did your little character have like spiky hair?
Yes, he did.
Okay,
he wore like a little red outfit.
Yeah, I think that's what I played.
And his I'll get into that before, because he had a sidekick, sort of. Goemon is a hot-blooded Kirasu-wielding ninja with blue bushy hair who lives in Oedo Town, and his friend, boy, these names, Ibisumaru, a strange, fat, gluttonous man who wears a blue bandana. Wow, why am I struggling with this? Ibisumaru is defined as a lazy and perverted individual, and trust me, that's not a vague description. There are end credits in this game where this character, Ibisumaru, takes out his camera, shrinks, and then gets on his back and crawls under the feet of a female NPC and takes a look under her dress.
That would not go over well today.
But it happened. I swear it happened.
So it could never be launched today.
No.
And like I said, that's just one example I can think of, but I swear it happens. Look it up. There's also Sasuke, who is a mechanical ninja who enjoys hot baths and Japanese tea. And there's also Yae, a fierce sword-wielding, kunoichi. Yeah, I got it. Being on the N64, one can compare it to other open-world adventures, such as Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time. It really had that open-world type setting. You navigate Goemon and his friends through forests, fields, dungeons, and other three-dimensional models of feudal Japanese places. We've talked about feudal Japan in other games before. They didn't quite have the understanding of feudal Japan, I don't think. Because I think it was, Kid Nicky? And they said radical, man.
Yeah.
Did you know that, Mammoth? I didn't realize that they said radical in feudal Japan. Who knew?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, now you know a little piece of history. All thanks to Kid Nicky. But this is Goemon, and I don't think they said radical in this. I think they were a little bit more appropriate to feudal Japan that we know of, but we weren't there. Anyway, players can control one of 4 characters at a time, but you can cycle through them with the press of a button. You travel through Japan. You visit towns, coffee houses, where you can be safe from enemies. You can eat in the restaurants, sleep in the inns to refill your strength. You can buy armor or rice balls. Yeah, that's the original.
That's the one I played.
Yeah. There's also self-acting items that refills health by itself. Many interactive non-player characters populate the cities. You can talk to them, much like other things you can uncover. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting fast.
That's the first time today.
I know. I was doing pretty good. You can uncover plot devices or idle gossip, which are common tropes in these type of games. When you defeat a boss, a cutscene begins where Goemon appears outside of the dungeon and helms his giant robot friend Impact to thwart an enemy robot. Now, again, if you remember, I think it's even still popular today in Japanese culture. Giant robots are a thing, and this is the part of feudal Japan which I think they kind of stretch a little bit. I don't know if they would have giant robots back then, but we don't know.
We should ask
there.
Beth. She lived there.
Who?
Beth lived there.
Oh, did she?
She lived in Japan.
Feudal Japan. Feudal Japan.
I'm just saying she lived in Japan. She might know about feudal Japan.
These sequences begin with a music video and a high-speed minigame in which Impact must smash structures and avoid hazards while racing across the countryside. It's pretty fun. At least that part was. It was pretty. The entire game was wild. I think there was a lot of translation issues because it's so Japanese in its style. You know what I mean? The story actually follows Goemon. Yes, the story follows Goemon and his friends trying to prevent the Peach Mountain Shoguns, because that's an awesome name for a gang.
Yeah, it is.
From turning Japan into a westernized fine arts theater. Damn. The plot calls for 3 cinematic musical features and battles between giant robots. The story is steeped in surrealist and Japanese humor, which is seen through certain elements such as the use of giant robots, airplanes, and the consumption of pizza, because these things happened in feudal Japan.
Well, I'm just saying. You should ask.
The game's dialogue is peppered with offbeat humor and a few instances of sexual innuendo, as I kind of mentioned.
They love sex in Japan, I think.
Such as characters mentioning how he wields his pipe to impress young girls.
That sounds like me.
And in the Japanese game, a character there's a character that collected hentai magazines and pornographic posters rather than automotive publications. And obviously that was removed for the Americanized version of the game. Another thing that they did in the game, which I really loved, I felt like it added to the humor of it, is it actually had a laugh track. So anytime there was a joke that popped off between characters, there would be an audible laugh track in the background to punctuate those jokes. And again, I've never seen that in a game, so it was just so unique.
That is
and
kind of
I really did kind of dig that. The game itself sold about 55,000 units here in America and about 141,000 units in Japan. It was met with decent reviews. Some praised the story and its offbeat humor, while others felt it was rather inane. But its deep cultural influences and some localization problems no doubt kept it from being fully embraced. I truly believe that it would be a hit today, despite what we said might not make it stateside. But I think it would be a hit today, considering the popularity of anime and manga has become. I really feel like it would be embraced so much more because people would understand it more. I think the
Good point.
the surgence of anime and manga have allowed other people to embrace Japanese culture in a way that they wouldn't have back then because they read about it and they see it and they want to understand it more. This game was actually followed by a Game Boy game of the same name. It featured gameplay similar to the Super Nintendo title Gambare Goemon 3, and I'm not even going to attempt the subtitle of that.
Please attempt it.
No. I'll let you. You want to try that? All of that. No, that's what I thought.
No, I can't speak Japanese.
It presented a story in which Ye had been kidnapped by the Black Ship Gang. In 1999, Konami released Goemon's Great Adventure on the N64, but it was more of a 2.5D side-scroller with multiplayer support, so it wasn't quite in the same vein. The reviews were pretty high marked for recreating the feel of the older 16-bit Goemon, and it's actually considered the best side-scroller for the N64. But as of right now, it is the last Goemon game released stateside, which I feel is a shame. Because I loved that game. I loved the characters. I did like Legend of a Mystical Ninja on the Super Nintendo.
That was fun because you could remember right. You could ride the tiger. You know, it's on the front, but you could ride the animals.
I do believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
Man, if you've never seen that series, definitely look it up. Just look up Goemon. Goe.
Never heard of it before, me.
You ought to give it a look. See, it's definitely interesting. I would love to see it get a resurgence at some point. Maybe it'll come back. Who knows?
Well, I got to say one thing.
Okay.
This whole entire podcast, I have been evaluating you, Mammoth, because one of my favorite bands, they're called Catfish and the Bottlemen. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
I've never heard of them.
Okay, well, sorry, but my point: every band that I've ever liked, and I think, man, these guys are cool. Find out they come from the UK, so I'm just wondering, Mammoth, is he going to be cool? Since he's from that area, then you're pretty cool.
Well, as you know, the whole of the UK is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or pretty cold. One of them too. So, honestly, it's been an honor to been on the show. I love listening to the show every week. You've got such a great show here, and it's it's been great, man. It's been great.
It was awesome.
We do appreciate you finally coming on. It took us a little while to get here because I think we had mentioned
so
a few
far away.
episodes back. Yeah, it's a lot of planning, because there's a bit of a time difference. But I'm glad we finally got it worked out till we could do this because it was definitely a pleasure to have you here, man. And like I said, I love
anytime.
Yeah, I love popping into your streams every morning. It makes my day. And any time that I miss it,
It's very sweet hearing that, man. Honestly, it's the little things like that. It's and that's why exactly why we stream. So thank you guys. Thank you.
And to all of our listeners, honestly, if you've never been and you've never seen Mammoth, you don't know who he is. Go to Twitch, www.twitch.tv/MammothEU, and you will not regret the stream. Trust me, you will enjoy your time there. But guys. That is our show. I would like to thank all of our listeners out there following our podcast across the web. Leave us reviews on iTunes, YouTube, Podbean, wherever you listen. We'd love to hear from you. I'm sure there are other places that I haven't mentioned, like Venus.
We're still number one on Venus.
Yeah, and I would love...
Number one.
We could be getting reviews on Venus right now, and we don't even know what they are.
We're looking to expand to possibly Uranus.
Yeah, we are. But we haven't got there yet.
No.
Haven't
worked out the deal.
Getting to Uranus, getting into Uranus,
tight.
It's really, really hard.
It's tight.
So we're gonna have to work at it a little bit, and eventually we'll get in.
We gotta smooth it out. We gotta be real slick.
Mm-hmm.
to get in there.
So, but we're working on it. We're working on it.
Yeah.
You can also follow our Facebook page. Join our community page to talk about games and, talk with other fellow gamers. Give us topics to discuss and maybe ask John a question. John wasn't here, unfortunately.
Yeah, we didn't even mention that.
Yeah. John, we love you, man.
We don't care if you're here or not, John. The show goes on.
Yeah. No, John was out. He couldn't make it today, but that's fine. Life happens. Life happens a lot to John.
This is what happens when you get smart with me the week before. He tried to get all up in my grill, and now he ain't here. Y'all don't even know where he is. I buried him somewhere.
You can also head over to Redbubble and look and find an official Super Mega Crash Brothers t-shirt. And you can wear us on your shirt.
We got bumper stickers?
Guys, we can make bumper stickers.
I want a bumper sticker.
We're going to have to figure that out. But get on there. Maybe not get a t-shirt. Maybe you can get a bag. Maybe you can get a coffee mug. Whatever you want.
We got bags?
Support the show.
We got bags? What kind of bags?
Tote bags.
I don't tote stuff, though.
Well, maybe you don't, but maybe other people do. Maybe other people
Mammoth, you tote stuff?
No, mate. No,
yeah.
I don't.
See, I bet that's like our worst seller is the tote bag.
Well, we haven't sold one yet, so it must be.
Exactly.
But hey, if you don't want to support the show by buying a t-shirt, maybe you can go to patreon.com/pencil and paper productions and help support the show that way. $5 or more will get you early access to content such as Season 2 of our YouTube series, Man Cave. Woo!
Woo!
Thank you so much for listening. I am Stephen White.
I'm Todd today.
Mammoth, thank you again for being here.
Yep.
Always a pleasure.
It was nice to meet you, Mammoth.
Yeah, no, it's just saying, guys. It's an honor to be on the show. It's an awesome show, you guys are saying. And yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Definitely would like to get you on again some other time. Definitely a return guest.
Definitely.
Indeed.
Anyway, guys, join us again next time. But until then, game on.